Hello, BookTube. I have a little mail for you today. It's only 3 packages once again, but once again, 2 of those packages are boxes, so that's not bad. The mail this week, just in general, has not been bad. A mere trickle of what we once had, but still pretty interesting. So we've got one package that isn't a box, one of these white envelopes. Let's see what's in here. It could be 3 finished copies that we get today, which would be very exciting. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, I think I was contacted by the publicist for this one. What have we got here? Oh God, we got a ton of stuff that I don't need, but I do have a pub sheet. That's good. So this comes out in early February, February 2nd. This is Floating in a Most Peculiar Way by Louis Chude Sokei. Let's see here. Louis Chude Sokei thought he was just one of many other children living in Uncle Daddy and Big Auntie's religious foster home of sorts in Jamaica, waiting for his mother to return for him and take him with her to the U.S. The first time he realized he is the first son of the first son of a renowned leader of the bygone African nation of Biafra is when a visiting African fell to his knees to shake him by the shoulders. Is this the boy? Is this him? Incredible. What a memory that must be. Floating in a Most Peculiar Way narrates the author's journey from serving as a symbol of hope for the short-lived nation of Biafra to being a refugee in Jamaica to navigating blackness in Inglewood amid the LA riots to becoming a professor and academic studying the very thing he lived, the African diaspora. As the author shares his upbringing, we also learn about his mother, who has her own extraordinary history as the one-time Jackie O of Biafra, and finally sends for him to come live with her. In Inglewood, Los Angeles, on the eve of gangsta rap and LA riots, it's as if he's fallen to earth. In this world, anything alien, such as his secret obsession with science fiction and David Bowie, hence the title, is a danger, and his yearning to become a black American gets deeply, sometimes absurdly complicated. Ultimately, it is a boisterous Pan-African family of honorary aunts, uncles, and cousins that becomes his secret society, teaching him the redemptive skill of navigating not just blackness, but blacknesses in his America. Okay, so this is being billed by Houghton Mifflin Harcourt as the astonishing journey of a bright, utterly displaced boy from the short-lived African nation of Biafra to Jamaica to the harshest streets of Los Angeles, a searing memoir that adds fascinating depth to a coming to America story. This comes out on the 2nd of February. Several elements of interest there for me. Probably the one that is of least interest is the memoir bit, but at least I'm glad the author didn't call this a novel without changing anything. I'm happy about that. It's an attractively produced thing, too. So it's coming up right away. That's right around the corner, so I'll have to get to that soon. And then we have the 2 boxes, and we'll see what these are. Probably finished copies. I don't see why you'd stick a paperback in one of these things unless it was a great big paperback. A couple of those coming out that I want. Oh no, okay, no, this is something I think we've seen already on this channel. No pub sheet, is that right? No pub sheet, but that's okay, we can manage. I don't have my ergonomics set up correctly here. I think we've seen this already. This is Madawi al-Rashid. This is The Sun King, Reform and Repression in Saudi Arabia. We can just read from the dust jacket here. Another well-designed book. In 2018, journalist Jamal Khashoggi was murdered by Saudi regime operatives, shocking the international community and tarnishing the reputation of Mohammed bin Salman, the kingdom's young reformist crown prince. Domestically, bin Salman's reforms have proven divisive, and his adoption of populist nationalism and fierce repression of diverse critical voices, religious, scholars, feminists, and dissident youth, have failed to silence a vibrant and well-connected Saudi society. The author lays bare the world of repression behind the Crown Prince's reforms. She dissects the Saudi regime's propaganda and progressive new image, while also dismissing Orientalist views that despotism is the only path to stable governance in the Middle East. Charting old and new challenges to the fragile Saudi nation from the kingdom's very inception, this blistering book exposes the dangerous contradictions at the heart of the Sun King's Saudi Arabia. Okay. Jamal Khashoggi was murdered by Saudi regime operatives, shocking the international community and tarnishing the reputation of Mohammed bin Salman. He was murdered by those operatives at the explicit recorded orders of Mohammed bin Salman, who not only told them what to do, but told them precisely how to do it. Don't just, I want him dead, will no one rid me of this troublesome journalist, but you want to lure him to this spot with this promise of these papers. And once he's there, I want to make sure that that you elaborately terrify him first for an hour. And then I want you to elaborately torture him, and I will instruct you on how to do that, as I have learned from the best in the business, to make sure that he doesn't die. He doesn't go into cardiac arrest or bleed out. I want him to live through his torture. Then I want you to elaborately murder him. A slow murder. Something, not a strangulation, something that will last a long time, so that he will know that you're killing him. And then when you're done with that, I want you to use livestock bone saws to carve up his body. And I want you to wear his clothing. I want you to leave the building and walk around the neighborhood in his clothing under the closed-circuit TV cameras that I have had installed everywhere so that I can watch my repressed subjects night and day. I want you to be seen wearing his clothing. And then I want you to pay visits to his family and tell them that the gruesome fate that you have captured not only on audio but on video will be theirs if they don't publicly thank me. This is an absolute monster. It didn't just tarnish his reputation. He's an absolute monster. And these operatives didn't act and then report. They took minute, detailed instructions on how to commit this crime from Mohammed bin Salman, who has been given fawning and lavishly complimentary visits by Donald Trump's son-in-law many times since Donald Trump came to power. Mainly because Donald Trump wants to make sure that anyone who hacks somebody apart with bone saws anywhere in the world knows they've got a friend in the White House. But also because Jared Kushner stood to make has made an enormous amount of money directly from Mohammed bin Salman. It's a direct, easily followable black and white paper trail of international crime. What Jared Kushner has done in connection with Mohammed bin Salman, including very much seeing those videotapes, hearing those audio tapes, and knowing probably ahead of time what was going to happen. All of that is a violation of international law. Jared Kushner could go to The Hague for the rest of his life, or be executed in some jurisdictions for what he has done, for what is easily provable that he has done. And like everyone else who did those kinds of things, although no one's been more egregious, no one's committed more of these kinds of just literal blood on the money kinds of crimes than Jared Kushner in the last 4 years. And like everyone else who's done it, he did it in a millenarial mind frame. He did it assuming that history stopped with his father-in-law and that there would never be any accounting of any kind for anything that he did. Same thing is true with Mike Pompeo, who has been siphoning money off United States foreign interests directly into his own pocket for years. Everyone here assumed that since Donald Trump has never experienced any accountability for any of the crimes that he's committed in 70 years, they won't either. That it's millenarian thinking. It's history stops with us. There's no history after us, so there's no need to be accountable. So this is an infuriating subject. Let's just, we've got the book here. I don't have a pub sheet, so I don't know when this comes out. But it's certainly a must-read for those of you who are interested in politics in the last 4 years. Let's just let our fingers do the walking here through the index and see what comes up under Kushner. Jared, he has one entry in this book. So we'll see what that entry is. Let's see. Let's move on. Let's hope for this last book is nice, safe, neutral territory. That would be nice. That would be very nice. Let's see. Is this also going to be a finished copy? Uh-oh. It is isn't a finished copy, and it isn't a galley copy. It's one of you misbehaving. One of you is again misbehaving. One of you has misbehaved. This is Evelyn Waugh, The Early Years by Martin Starnett. I got the Evelyn Waugh, The Later Years. Do I have it here? Not within reach. No, I got Evelyn Waugh, The Later Years, the hardcover at the Brattle. And I mentioned that this is absolutely magisterial biographical writing. Just, yes, it is thoroughly researched, heavily footnoted, heavily endnoted and annotated, but it's also absolutely well done. So that you're reading along fascinated. And I got volume 2. It's a 2-volume biography. I got volume 2, and I mentioned in that video that volume 1 reads a lot like a Waugh novel, that it's full of shot and incident, whereas volume 2 is mainly full of seclusion. And I mentioned, I think, in that video that if somebody dumped volume 2 at the Brattle, they probably dumped volume 1, and that it's only a matter of time until it shows up at the Brattle, but one of you couldn't wait. One of you ordered volume 1. Now, I have no idea who it was. I don't know. I can maybe examine the packaging and find out. The note had no attribution that I could see. And I am once again on the horns of a dilemma here. One of those horns is to express incredible gratitude. I don't know what's going on here that I never expected that BookTube would be a place that would give me things. It's incredible gratitude on the one horn of the dilemma. And on the other horn of the dilemma is that you shouldn't be sending me books. Not only because it's usually a bad idea. I either usually have the book or I don't want the book. But also because if it was shipped anywhere in the world, you had to deal with COVID restrictions, with a pandemic that could be dangerous. It's the horns of a dilemma. I very much appreciate this. I now have both volumes. And that is wonderful. But you shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have done it. Whoever you are. Is there any kind of note in here from the guilty party? No. No. Oh boy, this is going to be fun to reread. Oh man. I confess, I was probably obvious from that haul video that I like the first volume more than the second volume. I was glad to find the second volume, but this is actually even more interesting. Oh my, okay. All right, it's a present, and we've had plenty of those in the last couple of weeks, so let's make sure that we stop having those, okay? Although I don't want to give any of them back. I don't want to give any of them back. The John Kiernan, the gigantic Legion Omnibus, I don't want to give any of these things back. I don't want to give this back either. But still. All right, so anyway, there's your mail for today. We have Evelyn Waugh, The Early Years. Martin Starnett's biography is just definitive. It's fantastic. And now I have both volumes, thanks to the generosity of one of you. Then we have The Sun King, about Mohammed bin Salman, and the contract murder of Jamal Khashoggi of the Washington Post. And we have Floating in a Most Peculiar Way, a memoir of a man growing up in 3 different kinds of autobiographical fracture lines. How fascinating that must be. The description makes me think the book could be a lot longer. Who knows what kind of anecdotes this author has. I will find out his choicest ones when I read it. I will be doing quite a bit of reading from this mail haul today. It's a gray and rainy day here in Massachusetts, so the Frida Bean does not want to go outside at all. Not in the slightest. Doesn't even want to hear about it. And she doesn't need to. She'll let me know when she needs to. Otherwise, it's just a question of want. She usually wants to, but if she doesn't want to, then I'm not going to make her do it. And therefore, the whole day stretches before me. I just have to remember. I have to remember the lifelong struggle that I have with BookTube. I have to remember to upload this. I'm gonna film it and think, oh, there you go. The BookTube's done for the day, and forget to upload it. I can't do that. So, but I'm gonna spend the whole day reading on the couch. So that ought to be fun, including quite a bit of what I have here. So I'm gonna wrap this up for now. That is the mail for today. But I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.